Okay, so this is a weird video for me to make because I have a confession. So, I used to be a huge fan of Cameron Dallas. Like, Vine era, MagCon era, YouTube era, and every other era. Followed on every platform, actively supporting his TV show, any movie he was in, I was there. So this isn't a let's dunk on someone video. This video is about what happens when influencers disappear for years at a time and then just come back like nothing happened, expecting the same results. This is like your favorite TV show coming back. All the actors are the same, but none of the characters are the same. And the entire plot has changed with no explanation. And that's kind of the point of this video. What I want to talk about isn't just Cameron Dallas, it's what happens when influencers disappear for years at a time and then come back as if nothing happened and expect the same level of success. Spoiler alert, the internet doesn't work like that anymore. At least, not if you don't come correct. Cameron wasn't just a creator. He was a part of an ecosystem. We have a special guest. This is my stepson, Peek. He looks like Puss in Boots. Okay. Mommy's working. You gotta go for real. Back then, Cameron wasn't just a creator. He was a part of an ecosystem. Vine and YouTube, they felt intimate. You saw someone every day. You grew up with them, you felt like you knew them, parasocially of course, which is a whole other problem. So when someone like that just disappears, it doesn't feel natural. The relationship doesn't just pause, it slowly expires. And then they come back years later like, hey guys, new album, streaming now. I was like, sorry? Were you talking to us? Were we having a conversation? Because half the audience aged out and the other half has moved on. Influencer fame is built on consistency and perceived closeness. If you disappear without narrative, no explanation, or without sharing your growth, people don't feel abandoned, they just detach. Detachment is worse than hate. Hate comments mean people care. Silence means connection is gone. So, Cameron comes back, releases what only I can describe as 2009 garage band techno vomit. And I know I'm being harsh, but this is real. You're releasing music, this big project, big rollout. Some of his older music was really good. Was it ever huge and chart topping? No. Why Haven't I Met You was a beautiful song and it sounded real and it sounded like Cameron. This is where it gets uncomfy. The numbers, the charts, the reactions, the cultural moment, they're quiet. Not scandal quiet, not backlash quiet, just quiet. Like 2 views after release day on YouTube Music quiet. One of those views was me. And that's the most brutal reaction the internet can give. Now, I want to stop for a minute and say this is not me saying he's untalented. We've seen him release good music before. This isn't about influencer music is horrible. There's a lot of great music out. This is about re-entry strategy. You can't disappear from a parasocial economy and then come back as if nothing happened, asking for streams without rebuilding relationships first. This is where I want to compare comebacks that actually work. Because disappearing doesn't automatically doom you, it's about how you come back. Let's talk about 5 Seconds of Summer. I'll take any opportunity to talk about them. I'm not biased. Because 5 Sauce also disappeared for years. No constant posting, no pretending it was still 2014. No, hey guys, remember us energy. They went quiet on purpose and focused on their independent projects, separate from the band. Which already feels different because they didn't just disappear off the face of the earth. It felt like they went into a cave to level up like Pokemon. Or at least I think so. I don't know anything about Pokemon. When 5 Seconds of Summer came back, they didn't act like nothing had changed. They acknowledged the time gap. They reintroduced themselves. They clearly evolved their sound, but most importantly, they let the audience evolve with them. They didn't try to reclaim teenage fans. They grew alongside them. That's huge. Their comeback had a story. We grew up. Our sound is maturing. This is who we are now. Old fans felt respected and new fans weren't confused. No one was like, wait, am I supposed to know who you are? And while ushering in the new era, they respected the previous era. That's the difference. 5 Sauce treated their comeback like a reintroduction, not a resumption. Whereas a lot of influencer comebacks, including Cameron's, feel like they're skipping the emotional groundwork and jumping straight to the ask. Stream this, support this, care about this. But the relationship wasn't rebuilt first. It's the difference between, hey, it's been a while, let's catch up, let me re-earn your attention, to, hey, remember me? Anyway, here's my album. Same disappearance, wildly different results. So this isn't about disappearing being bad. It's about respecting the time that's passed, respecting the audience's growth, and understanding that nostalgia is a tool, not a guarantee. 5 Seconds of Summer understood that. A lot of influencers coming back don't. And that's why Cameron's comeback doesn't feel like a reinvention. It feels like a restart attempt and a lazy one. We skipped the here's where I've been, here's what's changed, and here's why this matters to me now. It was just, here's the product, and people don't really respond to that anymore. The algorithm doesn't care about nostalgia. They care about momentum, engagement, and relevance. Legacy followers don't equal active listeners. 1 million old fans who've moved on don't outperform tens of thousands of new ones. This is something we're seeing more and more. Early internet fame wasn't permanent. It was situational. The platforms changed, the culture changed, and the audience changed. Coming back like nothing happened kind of just feels out of touch. Not arrogant, just misguided. This doesn't feel like a comeback. It just feels like trying to reclaim a moment that's already passed instead of inviting the new one in. Now, that doesn't mean he can't succeed or that he won't succeed. It means success requires rebuilding, not resuming. This is a lesson for influencers who think disappearing is neutral. The internet doesn't remember you just because you were famous. It remembers who stayed and connected. If you were there for your 15 minutes of fame and disappeared and then expect that 15 minutes to turn into 16 minutes, all those years later, you're in for news. You don't come back to applause, you come back to indifference. Now, here's what I want to say before I end this. I don't want Cameron Dallas to fail. I actually hope he finds real success, just maybe with a different build. Because if there's one thing I can really give him credit for, he was one of the first influencers to really cross over. Not just posting selfies, but becoming a serious model. He was walking real runways, working with real brands, taking himself seriously in a space that didn't yet respect influencers. He paved the way in a lot of ways, and that matters to me because it showed me and a lot of people that internet fame didn't have to be the ceiling. It could be the doorway. So this isn't me rooting against him. It's me saying that the potential is still there, but the approach needs to catch up with the era we're in. There's also something really important to say here. Creators don't owe us permanence. We get used to seeing someone online every day, every week, every year, and eventually it starts to feel like consistency is a part of a deal, like staying the same version of themselves. It's part of the contract that none of us actually signed, but it isn't. People disappear, people change, people make careers for themselves, people make families, people outgrow versions of themselves that once worked, or maybe they just want to stop sharing for a while. And honestly, that's normal, that's human. Focusing on your personal life, if anything, it's healthier than forcing yourself to stay the same, frozen in time, just to keep an audience comfortable. The reality is, the audience doesn't always reconnect when someone returns, and that can be disappointing for viewers and for creators. But that doesn't mean the creator failed, and it doesn't mean the audience is wrong either. It just means time has passed, and the internet is really bad at trying to understand it. A comeback doesn't have to be loud to be successful. Sometimes it just has to be honest, and intentional, and patient. And if Cameron slows down, rebuilds the bridge, and lets people walk across naturally, I think there's a version of the story that actually works. Because disappearing doesn't end your career, but coming back like nothing happened and no explanation sometimes does. Let me know in the comments. Who's a comeback that actually made you root for them again? And who made you realize that you're kind of just moved on and over it? Whose comeback are you waiting for? Who should have stayed in a cave? I know somebody should have. I'm not talking about Cameron.